Hello, welcome to Foodsmart's Healthy Make Ahead Appetizers. So first let's talk about some tips and tricks. When you're planning for an event, aim to have about 4 to 6 pieces of an appetizer per person. I always like to have vegetarian options and I like to create a mix. So I'll have some charcuterie, something warm, perhaps something on a stick. I also like to find a theme and just run with it, whether it's a focus on culinary or a different type of holiday theme. It just helps to put the menu together in your mind. I like to have at least 3 different options, and when I'm making the food, I always have a 200-degree oven on to make sure that I can keep the food warm as I'm moving along. So, some sample items on my menu could be a cheese board, a mix of cured meats and cheeses. I like to have some dried fruit and crackers. I always like to set out a dip because it's just a really easy grab and go option and it can usually hang out while you're getting other things ready. And then I usually like to have something that's a little bit warm. One last thing I always aim for, food on a stick is really fun. It's easy and portable for people to take as they're walking around the room and having conversations with other folks, so I try to weave that into my menu as well. And as I'm setting up, I always think in the back of my mind, make it nice. I like to create height with books or cake stands. Unscented candles add really great ambiance. I also like to use food as decoration. And that can be cranberries, whole squash, some whole nuts, anything that you have in your pantry can really give great holiday cheer to your table. And last but not least, great tunes. A fun playlist always gets the party moving. So what's on the menu today? Today we have Greek yogurt spinach dip, a really easy smoked trout spread that I'm going to be serving over some cucumber rounds, some curried butternut squash soup shooters, tomato and mozzarella skewers with a little bit of basil, and for the sweet tooth in your group, some coconut dark chocolate truffles made with dates. All of these recipes are available on the Foodsmart app in our recipes section. So first, let's talk curried butternut squash soup. Soups are a really easy way to get healthy flavor on the table for your appetizers, and this one couldn't be simpler. Just butternut squash, and you can either go in a Thai blend with red curry paste or infuse it with more Indian flavors like curry powder. Once the soup has simmered, I like to serve it in these little shot glasses, and I use a squeeze bottle to make sure that there's no drips on the side so it looks beautiful when I'm presenting it. Next up, we have Greek yogurt spinach dip. So this is a spin on my family's favorite dip growing up that was made with lots of mayonnaise and sour cream. But this version uses yogurt and frozen spinach at the base, so it's a lot healthier and it's still just as delicious. I like to put a little yogurt on top, topped with some snipped chives and a little bit of olive oil served next to some toasted crostinis. This is everyone's favorite and super easy and simple to make ahead of time and keep in your fridge before you serve it. I also like to think of small easy swaps, so instead of the crostini, maybe I'll have that for one of the appetizers. Instead, I'll put some dip on top of some English cucumber rounds. It gives really beautiful crunch, great bright flavor, and you're adding extra vegetables to your spread. So here we've got some really easy smoked trout dip, again made with yogurt, lemon zest, lemon juice, and here I've put a little bit of dill on top just to make it look prettier. Garnishes like this also help hide any imperfections underneath and make it look really beautiful. Next up we have tomato-basil mozzarella bites. These couldn't be simpler. I like to just take a little bit of extra time and take the bocconcinis, put them in a little container with some fresh thyme or basil, whatever you have on hand, a couple cranks of some black pepper, a little bit of salt, and then put plenty of olive oil in there. A little red pepper flake adds some heat, so that can be really nice too. You can leave it out if you're serving some kids. So then we take the container and add some olive oil, and I like to marinate it for a day or two. It just gives the mozzarella some depth of flavor, a little bit of heat, and you can taste those herbs in there. Then when you're ready to go, just put them on little toothpicks. Here I've got some cherry tomatoes, a little bit of torn basil. Again, a little bit of extra seasoning on top. It just makes it look visually appealing and more flavor. These are super kid friendly. When I made these, my kids devoured them for lunch. And last but not least, for the sweet tooth, dark chocolate coconut truffles. So here we've got some dates, a a little bit of cocoa powder, some flaked unsweetened coconut, and some dark chocolate. So we blend up the dates and the cocoa powder with some flour. You can use almond, coconut, or rice flour, which is what I used here. And then I have a tablespoon scooper, and I'm taking the chilled dough and rolling it into little round truffle shaped balls. Then I'm going to put this back in the freezer so that they're solid when I dip them into the chocolate. So next up, the bittersweet chocolate, I melted it in the microwave, and I like to use a measuring cup just to roll it around and make sure I get good coverage. And then here in a little deli container, I've got my coconut, and I like to just shake it around and use a fork to pull it out so I'm not smashing it with my finger, so that it keeps its nice round shape. These dark chocolate coconut truffles will satisfy the chocoholic and sweet tooth at your party. The bittersweet chocolate outside and the coconut give great flavor, super satisfying, and much healthier. We hope you enjoyed our ideas and have happy holiday season and a healthy new year.